Suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Humerman back in court today.
What if the most notorious serial killer in history had been hiding in plain sight, evading capture for over 3 decades? The Long Island serial killer's reign of terror spanned years, leaving behind a trail of unsolved murders and unanswered questions. As shocking new developments unfold, will we finally discover the truth behind the killer's identity? Or will this mystery remain unsolved forever? Don't miss out on the secrets that could change everything. Keep watching to learn what we've uncovered. Ladies and gentlemen, this case, marked by its chilling revelations and lingering questions, continues to haunt not only those who lost loved ones but also anyone who dares to peer into the shadows of a mind twisted enough to commit such heinous acts. The story of the Long Island serial killer, LISK, spanning decades, begins with a harrowing 911 call made by a young woman, Shannon Gilbert, on May 1, 2010. Little did she know, this call would ignite a search that would uncover far more than anyone could have ever imagined. The beginning of the search, the eerie call, lasted 23 minutes, marking the start of what would become one of the most infamous serial killer investigations in modern history. Shannon, a 24-year-old sex worker, had fled her client's home in Oak Beach, Long Island, desperate to escape some unknown terror. As she made the call, she mentioned that someone was after her, but her fears remained cryptic and unexplained. Her frantic flight was the spark that would eventually lead investigators down a dark path. A grim revelation. In the summer of 2010, police, aided by K9 Blue, embarked on a grueling search for Shannon, only to uncover something more horrifying than they had anticipated. In December of that year, the dog found not Shannon, but 4 bodies within 500 feet of each other. These would later be dubbed the Gilgo 4. A year later, 6 more bodies were discovered. The shocking discovery opened the door to the terrifying reality of the Long Island serial killer, a predator who had been lurking in the darkness for far longer than anyone had suspected. Are there more victims? As the investigation continued, the question on everyone's mind was this: was the killer a singular monster, or was there more than one? With victims found years apart and no clear pattern, it became increasingly difficult to discern the full scope of the killer's reign of terror. Was the Long Island serial killer a singular entity or the product of a dark network of killers operating across decades? The first murders? The timeline of LISK's actions is a complex web, spanning more than 30 years. On February 1, 1982, 19-year-old Tina Foglia was last seen at a local music venue. Her body would be discovered in a trash bag on the Southern State Parkway, dismembered and asphyxiated. Though her death was not immediately linked to LISK, her case remains under investigation. In 2017, DNA evidence hinted that she could indeed be connected to the killer, yet there remains uncertainty. Meanwhile, during the same period, other unsolved deaths began to emerge. In 1993, Rita Tanger's body was discovered with horrifying similarities to the others found years later. The connection between these deaths, spread across different decades, fueled speculation that they were part of a pattern, but for years, they remained little more than chilling, unsolved mysteries. The case cracks open. The discovery of DNA evidence in 2017 led to the arrest of John Batole, a Long Island carpenter. He was suspected of being involved in 2 murders in the 1990s, with evidence linking him to 3 others. But while this provided a lead in some cases, it did little to solve the greater mystery of the Gilgo Beach murders. Was Batole the true LISK, or was he merely another piece in an ever-expanding puzzle? Their stories and tragic fates. The victims found along the remote beaches of Long Island were predominantly young women, many of whom had fallen into sex work. The stories of these women, Shannon Gilbert, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Castell, and many others, are heart-wrenching. Each of these women had families who loved them, and their disappearance and deaths are a tragic reminder of the vulnerability of marginalized individuals in society. Shannon Gilbert, whose case triggered the initial investigation, remains the most enigmatic. Despite widespread public attention, her death has been ruled non-criminal by authorities. However, for those who loved her, the mystery remains. Was her death part of the same story, or was it a separate tragedy that just happened to be intertwined with LISK's killing spree? The similarities in the murders. A closer examination of the victims reveals disturbing patterns. Many of the bodies were found bound and wrapped in burlap sacks, their bodies posed in disturbing positions. The killer's method of disposal, often in remote areas or near beaches, suggests a desire to keep the victims hidden from the public eye, while still marking them for his personal obsession. The authorities, after years of investigation, have determined that many of these murders are linked, all pointing to the elusive Long Island serial killer. Yet even with this knowledge, the case remains unsolved, leaving a trail of grief and unanswered questions. Rex Heuermann's arrest. In 2023, after more than a decade of speculation, the case took a dramatic turn. Rex Heuermann, a 59-year-old architect from Massapequa Park, was arrested in connection with the Gilgo Beach murders. He was linked to 3 of the Gilgo 4 through DNA evidence, and his arrest marked a crucial step in unraveling the mystery of the Long Island serial killer. Heuermann's background, however, revealed unsettling details. As a high school lifeguard at Jones Beach, near where the victims were discovered, he had long been living in proximity to the crimes. Despite his quiet and seemingly normal life, neighbors described him as creepy and noted his odd behavior. While many were initially shocked by his arrest, the evidence that connected him to the killings was irrefutable. A tale of silence and fear. Heuermann's arrest prompted further investigation into his life, uncovering disturbing details. His penchant for aggressive and creepy behavior toward neighbors was just the tip of the iceberg. His disturbing online searches, burner phones, and disturbing behaviors were all linked to the murders. The investigation has raised troubling questions. How many others are out there like Heuermann, hiding in plain sight? Is he the only one? Despite Heuermann's arrest, the investigation is far from over. Authorities continue to probe into his past and connections, questioning whether he acted alone. The question remains, could there be other serial killers operating alongside him? Or was Heuermann the singular monster who tormented Long Island for decades? Until further evidence is found, the mystery continues. A community in fear. As the investigation continues, the people of Long Island are left with a chilling question. How many killers are out there, lying low, hoping the spotlight of justice will fade from them? The arrest of Rex Heuermann may only be the beginning of unraveling a much larger web of terror. For now, though, the haunting truth remains. The full extent of the Long Island serial killer's reign of terror may never be fully understood. A case that haunts the mind. As the investigation unfolds, one thing is clear: the quest for justice is far from over. The families of the victims and the community as a whole continue to search for answers, for closure, and for the ultimate truth. But as we continue to uncover more about Rex Heuermann and the pattern of crimes, we are left to reflect on the horrors of the past and the enduring question of just how many more victims remain hidden in the shadows. The hunt for the Long Island serial killer is far from over, and we're just scratching the surface. Stay tuned for our next mind-blowing deep dive into the infamous Jack the Ripper murders, a case that's haunted the world for over a century. You won't want to miss the shocking details we've uncovered. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon, so you're the first to get our latest investigations. Join us as we unravel the most chilling mysteries the world has ever known.